Okay, that's sets the stage for us to welcome in the founder and wealth advisor with VestGen Wealth Partners, Craig Bolanos. Hey, Craig, welcome back to the show.
Hey, good morning and a very happy Friday to you. Yeah, I tell you what, lots of headlines running rampant in January and February. Tensions are high, but I do think we're set up for a four-peat. That's potentially a fourth good year in a row for equity investors, even though this is going to be the toughest in the cycle.
You know, I'm glad you said that because in rural America, it doesn't. And I'm being stereotypical. There are rural areas that have been part of a boom, if you will, and economic activity has been good there. But for quite a few that rely on ag as the chief driver of that economy, it seems like it's been just the opposite when it comes to the economy there. How do we square that together, what we see on Wall Street, if you will, as compared to what we see in rural ag communities?
Well, it's tough because I don't necessarily walk in anyone's shoes, but I have to say everyone sees the world from their own point of view. Everyone is shaped by their own experience. And this economy is anything but linear. This economy, the arc of it, is so incredibly dynamic that you're seeing a wide spread between those that are doing fantastic, those that aren't doing well enough. And certainly in the ag community, when you think about all of the tariffs, all of the changes, the huge interest rate increases we had a couple of years back, making equipment financing and so many things more difficult, I don't know. I'm impressed every day I get up when I look at the American farmer who feeds the world, that these men and women are able to trudge through and continue to grind to success.
Well, and if all we did was grow a crop, harvest it, and then sell it, might be hard to find a way to cash flow that thing and stay in business. So obviously that's why we have markets. How important is it to build that marketing plan? And maybe it isn't all built just around that crop that we raise or the livestock that we raise, incorporating other tools into that plan.
Well, I mean, I think, you refer to having a plan, and plans can be so many different forms, right? I mean, every business owner out there, every farmer out there, they have a business plan, right? In addition to that, I would argue everybody, whether you're a family, whether you're an individual, whomever it is, you need to have a wealth plan. You need to have a retirement plan. You need to find a way that you're going to put yourself in a position to worry less and live more, which ultimately means be in a position to get retired and stay retired. But for so many in the agricultural community, these are oftentimes family businesses, aren't they, my friend? And making those transitions from Gen 1 to Gen 2 to Gen 3 gets harder and harder as we go. And I just encourage people to start whiteboarding, start finding a proxy, find a series of professionals who are going to do a fantastic job listening, make yourself a bit vulnerable, and together you can use tax strategies, estate and legal strategies, all sorts of business strategies to make things just a little bit sweeter.
We can find some of your content on YouTube, and this is one I think was a couple of weeks ago, but for anybody who didn't see it or didn't hear your comments, retirees, instances where we're seeing retirees being forced back to work. Tell us more about that and what's happening and where do we go with this?
Well, it's a phenomenon that shouldn't surprise that many, and it's not located to one geographical region in the country. I would argue it's all over the country. I mean, we have to remember there's these massive age wave demographics that started several years ago, but COVID really injured a lot of things. There are so many people that were put out of work. They were displaced during COVID. That could have been global outsourcing, could have been reductions in force. There were also people who chose to depart. And the issue that you hear about, this concept of affordability, I got news. Pull up your property tax bill 5 years ago, everybody. It's probably a lot cheaper than it is today. Take a look at all of the things that you consume. They, too, were a lot cheaper 5 years ago than they are today. And for a lot of retirees who got out too early, got out without a plan, they're finding now that their finances are coming up short. Even though they have the same amount of cash flow today they maybe did a couple years ago, if you're not in a position to grow that cash flow, then you're eventually going to succumb to the silent killer. That's not hypertension, by the way. We can take pills for that. The silent killer is inflation. And I think it's inflation that's driving so many people back into the workforce.
Well, and so as we kind of bring all this full circle, obviously we have you here once a week to visit. When it comes on the market side and the headline side, what is Craig watching as we enter this final week of February?
Well, I mean, two big pieces of data just got released this morning. They're breaking while you and I are on the radio together. I mean, part number one, the GDP. Well, that first estimate came in a little bit disappointing. I mean, we were at 1.4%. That definitely missed the estimate. I'm going to be spending time breaking down what went into that elixir to find out why we came up short, because we've been having a U.S. economy that was on the danger of run hot. This is anything but run hot with a 1.4 estimate. Next thing I pay attention to is the inflation. You know, the Federal Reserve has their preferred measure of inflation. They call it PCE, not CPI, PCE, personal consumption expenditure. And we learned that inflation year over year still tracking 2.9%. So what does that mean? It just means confirmation of what we already know, my friends.
Well,
it's expensive out there.
No kidding. Craig, if we want to keep up with you, learn more about you, visit with you, how do we find you?
You know what? I want you to be curious. Connect with me online at getretiredstayretired.com. That's getretiredstayretired.com.
Okay. Craig Bolanos, founder and wealth advisor. Get retired and stay retired.